Have you ever felt completely drained after trying to solve someone else's problem? Have you stayed awake at night thinking about someone else's reactions, feelings, or decisions only to wake up exhausted and frustrated? Most of us have. Caring is beautiful, it is what makes us human, but caring too much is a silent epidemic in our society today. You see, there is a fine line between caring and overcaring. When we cross that line, we begin to live other people's lives. Their problems become our problems, and their opinions begin to dictate our emotions. And in this process, we slowly lose our peace, our clarity, and even our sense of self. Today, we will explore why you care too much, how it harms you, and most importantly, how you can stop overcaring without becoming indifferent. By the end of this session, you will understand that caring is not a weakness, it is a skill that needs wisdom and boundaries. Caring is an act of love, empathy, and kindness. But when there are no boundaries, it turns into a burden. Many people believe that if they care more, they will be loved more. They think that their value is measured by how much they sacrifice, how much they worry, and how much attention they give to others. But the truth is, harsh overcaring often leads to disappointment. Imagine a small shopkeeper, Ravi. Every day, he worries about his customers' satisfaction, even about things he cannot control. One day, a customer complained unfairly about a product that was not even faulty. Ravi spent hours thinking about what went wrong. He apologized, offered discounts, and tried to make it right, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. By the end of the week, he was mentally exhausted. His business was suffering, his sleep was disturbed, and his family felt neglected. This is what happens when we care without boundaries. Caring without limits is like trying to carry the entire ocean in a bucket. Eventually, the water overflows and you are left drenched and exhausted. Your mind is no longer calm, your heart is heavy, and your energy is drained. Boundaries are not selfish, they are essential. When you care with boundaries, you can still be kind, compassionate, and helpful, but you protect your own peace. You recognize the limits of your responsibility. You understand that other people's choices, reactions, and feelings are not under your control. By caring wisely, you stop letting the world dictate your emotions. You begin to care in ways that are meaningful and sustainable. Think about the lotus flower. It grows in muddy water but never lets the dirt stick to its petals. Similarly, you can care deeply but without letting negativity, criticism, or other people's chaos affect your inner peace. A major reason we overcare is that we are constantly seeking approval. We fear judgment, rejection, or criticism, so we try harder, care more, and sacrifice more, hoping that someone will finally recognize our worth. Let me tell you the story of Anaya. She was a talented designer, loved by her clients, but she constantly worried about whether everyone liked her work. She would tweak projects endlessly, lose sleep over minor details, and even skip meals worrying about client opinions. One day, she realized she was living for others' validation, not for herself. Her happiness depended on their responses, and no matter how much she gave, it was never enough. Seeking approval from everyone is like chasing shadows. The more you run, the more elusive it becomes. Some people will never appreciate you, some will misunderstand your intentions, and some will criticize without reason. The moment you stop chasing approval, you reclaim your freedom. Caring stops being a burden when it becomes a choice, not a compulsion. You begin to focus on what aligns with your values, not what aligns with other people's expectations. You start asking yourself, am I doing this because it matters or because I want someone else to like me? That question alone can change your perspective. Caring with wisdom means caring without expectation. You still help, you still love, but your energy is no longer drained by constant need for recognition. You begin to live your life with intention, not fear. Emotional independence is one of the most underrated skills in life, yet it is essential for anyone who wants to care without being consumed by it. When you care too much, your happiness begins to depend on other people's moods, decisions, or actions. You feel elated when things go your way and crushed when they don't. Your inner peace fluctuates with circumstances beyond your control. Over time, this constant emotional turbulence erodes your confidence, clouds your judgment, and leaves you mentally exhausted. Consider the story of Samir, a passionate teacher who genuinely cared for his students. Every time a student failed a test or misbehaved in class, Samir felt it personally. He carried guilt home, replayed situations in his mind, and questioned whether he had failed as a mentor. His weekends were filled with worry, and even time with his own family became stressful because he couldn't stop thinking about the students. One day, a colleague said something simple yet profound. You are responsible for teaching, not for what they choose to do with it. That insight was a turning point for Samir. He realized that while caring is essential, letting go of outcomes is vital. He could still guide, support, and encourage his students without tying his emotional well-being to their reactions or decisions. Emotional independence does not mean becoming cold or indifferent. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. Storms may rage, waves may crash, but the light inside remains steady. It is the ability to stay calm, centered, and grounded, even when the world around you is chaotic. It is the wisdom to empathize, support, and help others without letting their moods or choices determine your own emotional state. To cultivate emotional independence, start by observing your feelings without judgment. Ask yourself, am I caring because it is genuinely necessary or because I am afraid of losing control? Awareness is the first step. Then practice detachment not as a way to stop caring, but as a way to care wisely. Detachment allows you to act with compassion while protecting your inner peace. Let me give another example. Ria, a nurse, cared deeply for her patients. She often went home emotionally drained because she felt responsible for every patient's health outcome. One mentor advised her to focus on providing the best care she could and then let the results take their natural course. Ria learned to separate her effort from the outcomes. She became more effective in her work and also regained balance in her personal life. Emotional independence transforms caring from a burden into a joy. When you are emotionally independent, your actions are driven by love and intention, not fear or attachment. You can support, guide, and nurture without being worn down by the ups and downs of others' choices. Caring becomes empowering, not exhausting. Remember, true compassion is rooted in freedom, the freedom to care deeply without losing yourself in the process. When you master emotional independence, you create a life of balance, resilience, and genuine happiness. Over-caring often manifests as overthinking. We imagine countless scenarios, anticipate every possible problem, and stress about things that haven't even happened yet. We replay conversations in our minds, imagine the worst-case outcomes, and build mountains out of molehills. But the truth is, worry is never productive. Worry drains your energy, clouds your mind, and prevents you from seeing solutions that are right in front of you. Caring is not just about thought or concern, it is about purposeful action. Let me share the story of Meera. Meera was a devoted daughter who worried constantly about her elderly parents. She feared accidents at home, illnesses, missed medications, and even imagined scenarios where they might be unhappy or lonely. Every day, her thoughts spiraled into anxiety, leaving her mentally and emotionally exhausted. She was so preoccupied with worry that she neglected her own health, her work, and her personal life. One afternoon, a friend asked her, "Meera, how is worrying helping anyone?" That simple question struck her deeply. She realized that she had been confusing caring with constant worrying. So, Meera decided to take action instead of dwelling on fear. She started by organizing their home to make it safer, installing grab bars in the bathroom, ensuring proper lighting in hallways, and securing rugs to prevent slips. She scheduled regular health checkups and delegated some responsibilities to her siblings and neighbors. She also set aside specific times to call her parents. Instead of constantly checking in every hour, slowly, Meera noticed a shift. The anxiety didn't vanish overnight, but taking concrete steps gave her a sense of control and empowerment. She realized that real care is not about imagining every possible misfortune. It is about doing what you can and letting go of what you cannot. This is the essence of purposeful care. You cannot control others' choices, emotions, or reactions. You cannot prevent all accidents or solve every problem that life throws at your loved ones. But you can control your actions, your responses, and your intentions. By focusing on constructive action instead of unproductive worry, your care becomes meaningful and effective. You help, you contribute, and you protect your peace, all without being consumed by imagined scenarios. Remember, life is too short to live in constant worry over things beyond your control. Caring without action is futile. Action without overthinking is wise. When you shift your focus from endless concern to intentional action, you no longer carry the heavy burden of overcaring. Your energy is preserved, your mind is clear, and your heart remains compassionate. The key is to ask yourself, am I helping by worrying or am I helping by acting? When you choose action, you create solutions, not anxiety. You provide support, not stress. You nurture your loved ones, but you also nurture yourself. Overcaring loses its grip the moment you learn to act with purpose, leaving worry behind. Caring is one of the greatest gifts we can offer the world, but caring too much can be a silent poison. The key is to care wisely, with boundaries, without seeking approval, with emotional independence, and through focused action. Start today by asking yourself, am I caring or am I over-caring? Pause, reflect, set limits, protect your peace. Let your compassion be a source of strength, not a burden. When you do this, you will discover a life of balance, joy, and inner freedom. Caring will remain in your heart, but it will no longer control your mind. You will no longer be exhausted by other people's expectations. You will act with love, wisdom, and clarity. And in that balance, you will finally find the peace you've been seeking.